So coming to our panel, we've got like short introductions about Terence, Neole, and Bhoomika here. And there's more that catches the eye, right? There's more in-depth stories. And here to put this as a medium, this stories to, to get that awe factor, that factor that makes you like how our company tagline goes. It's all about you here to be exposed, right? And we love exposing GENZU, like, based on the recent events and going along. So when we start off, we've gotten short introductions about you guys. So can we get the real picture here, Terence? If you could start off like a small but a yet detailed introduction about yourself and your journey.
Well, from a small age, it was always motorcycles. From small, it was always bikes. So my first bike was a small dirt bike my dad got me when I was 12 years old. And it's a PW80. I used to ride it around. I used to crash and used to do a lot of things. And when I turned 18, like how all your dads would buy you a new bike. And when you turn 18, they'll just give you a nice, expensive bike and you'll end up riding it. But you guys won't know how to turn a bike, how to give throttle input, how to ride it. And my dad did this crazy thing. Instead of giving me a brand new bike, he took a junk bike from it was a CBR 250. It was just lying there. He took it, he gave it to me, and he put me on one of the best riding schools in the world. It's called California Superbike School. I ended up doing that, and I ended up realizing what riding was, how to ride, how to turn a bike. And even on the road, when you see people riding, I see them hold the handle really tight and they get shoulder pain and all those sort of things. And no one's telling them how to do things. So somewhere deep down, I was like, hey, you know what? Let me end up teaching people how to ride bikes, how to turn, how to throttle it, and how not to crash and get into trouble, So that's where I'm from. And also, I'm a developer. End of the day, we have to make money, guys. Bikes don't, they're really expensive. So I ended up doing game development, and I started up as a developer, and I ended up making games, applications, websites, and wherever, anything to do with, computers. So that's my story.
So if you look at it, you have an inspiration coming from home, where you've seen a lot, and if I'm not wrong,
from small,
and like your dad's also been crafting motorsport from a very long time. So if you look at it, like there is a nepotism take that comes into it. Like people do call out on it, but then to avoid all of that, he did put you back to scratch, right? And that journey. So how has that crafted you?
Well, my dad never gave me the best of best bikes. He never gave me something that's perfect. He always gave me something that wasn't great, and he would tell me to tell me what's the problem with the bike. Is the chain too loose? Is this, a certain way? So that's how he taught me about motorcycles. He never gave me the perfect thing, but I had to make it perfect. So that was my story. It wasn't actually about just getting the most expensive bike. He used to give me an RX and it used to fall apart, but he was like, ride it, fix it, figure out what the bike is. So
in this process of figuring out, somewhere you figure out
riding
yourself also, and also the vehicles in the process.
And that's how I'm able to run the garage. Well, that's how I'm able to do things, right?
So that was Terence, guys. A small applause for Terence, I guess, for his journey. And going forward, Neole.
Yeah, hi guys. So I'll tell long story or short story.
Your story.
My story. Okay. So I was born in Dubai. I was brought up in Bangalore, but originally I'm from Udupi. And when I was very chubby kid when I was small, really fat. I used to walk and fall because I could not balance with my knees. And in LKG, my sports teacher, she just made us run, and I kept coming first. So my mom is like, okay, so I was also a really dumb child. I was very weak in studying. So my mom is like, if she's at least good in sports, let her do it. And my mom used to bribe me with chicken. So I used to really like chicken when I was small and still do. So she was like, okay, if you run, I'll buy you grilled chicken, like half grilled chicken, and we'll call it equal. So I started running like that. And when I was 13 years, I won my first national medal. And when I was 18, I got my first international qualification, but I could not go because I got a hamstring tear. And then when I was 20, I went for my international, like I went to Peru, I went to Dubai, I went to Chennai, hosted an international, then I won my first gold in internationals with a record. So I had just been running my whole life. Last year, September, I decided to change my sport. So I did rugby for some time. I did enjoy it, but it's too violent. Like it's too scary, and every time I'm just like stressed if I'll fall or if someone will dash me. Then I did MMA for half a month, and then I went to the UK for WWE trials. Didn't get selected, came back, started coaching, and while coaching, I realized that weightlifting is also fun. So I started weightlifting. So now I'm weightlifting, and I'm just exploring different kinds of sports.
So did you explore all sports because you got more chicken or because you just draw you?
Protein is the excuse. I just go for a workout just to eat protein.
So and this, you've been through, if you look at it, there's similarity in a few fields. There's also a lot of diversity going along. So what draw you towards that?
What?
Like going from running to rugby, then going for like MMA, going for the WWE tryout. And so what got you motivated to go there?
So sports is all about adrenaline, it's like the adrenal rush you get when 100 meters, right? It's a 11-second race, right? It's you're on your stance, they shoot the gun in 11 seconds, or like Usain Bolt in 9 seconds, he's done. So it's all about adrenal, and to some extent you get used to that adrenal. So that's why people, like a lot of athletes, when they're having the off season, they change their sport, they try something else to get the different rush. So MMA got a different kind of fear in me, and like a rush, and rugby also is a different thing. And right now weightlifting is giving me the most comfort or the most adrenaline that I'm craving for. That's so the thing what's motivating me to try different sports is basically the joy of learning something new, the joy of learning a new skill and meeting new people. So yeah, that's what is motivating me to try different sports. But I would love some other thing also, but right now I'm sticking to weightlifting.
So that's great. So you're an adrenaline junkie.
Yes.
So going forward, Bhoomika, a small introduction about yourself.
I think I'm the only one on this panel who's probably not an adrenaline junkie and focuses on calming everyone's mind down with my art. And quite honestly, every single story of my life started with a heartbreak. I became a doctor because a guy told me that I'm not smart enough to be a doctor. And I said, watch me. I became a mural artist because I was out with another guy. I pointed at a wall in airlines, a space that I hold very dear to my heart, because that's one place that I would go to with my grandparents, my grandpas especially, after our weekly runs in Lal Bagh. And as I shared a crispy masala dosa with this guy, I pointed at a yellow withering wall behind him and said, someday I'm going to paint that wall. And I still remember that wall had a very sad looking painting of a dosa, an idli and a vada. And all he could say to that was, this dosa doesn't deserve 100 rupees. And ರೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗೋರ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕರೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವಾಲ್ ಪೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತಾರಲ್ವಾ, which low-key translates to, yes, they'll call every Tom, Dick and Harry who's walking on the street and say, come paint a wall for us. And that's when I knew that the heartbreak wasn't really worth it. It's what he deserved. And that's how I knew that my canvas had to grow much bigger than what I was painting on. And that's also when COVID struck. My parents were admitted, they're both doctors. I'm from a Brown family, so obviously becoming a doctor was pre-written for me, apart from the heartbreak. But when both of them started treating a lot of patients, ultimately they did get COVID as well. And before I knew it, both of them were admitted in a critical condition. And the only outlet that I had for myself was my art. And when I ran out of canvases, I started painting on my body. And when my body felt like it was too small, I moved on to walls. And at one point, every wall in my house was already painted, and my granny said, I will kick you out. And that's when I started volunteering for NGOs. And all of this happened during the course of that heartbreak, where this man said, I wouldn't be that Tom, Dick or Harry. slowly, I was painting for NGOs. I was the one person who preps everything, sketches your Dora and your Doraemon out for you before you go in to fill them with color. And somehow the people who would walk in were just handed a bucket of color and they were asked to be free, go paint something, get your Instagram pictures, and say that you've contributed to the beauty of the school. But the ultimate result of that one painting would never be something that was professional enough to be in a school. And that's when I realized that this is something that is a skill that can be taught to people, especially when I've been doing it for such a long time. And I met the man who fixed my broken heart, who is busily taking pictures back there. And 4 years ago, we came up with the concept of Wall as Your Canvas, a simple mural painting workshop where people walk in, I teach them the skills that they need to paint a wall, give them all the materials, and ultimately remove Dora, Doraemon, Chota Bheem, and all of his lovers of that week from government school walls and replace them with actual professions and aesthetics that would make a change to inspire the children in the school. In the last 4 years, we've painted, I think, as she said, 400 murals. We've transformed more than 20 schools in Bangalore. More than 8,000 people have walked in week in and week out just to come and paint on a canvas much bigger than themselves. And somewhere along that way, one of my lousy reels reached the owner of airlines who called us up and said, "We have a wall for you, and I think it would be the perfect canvas." And when we walked in, all he did was point at the same yellow wall, withering away with the dosa, the idli, and the vada. And today it houses one of the first renditions of Van Gogh's Starry Night in Bangalore. So yes, we've come a long, long way. And all of this was happening during my 3rd year in med school. And I still remember every final exam would be my peak season for my corporate events, peak season for my paid commission projects. So in the middle of my exam season, before my surgery exam, I was up till 2 in the morning painting for eBay. I was up till 4 in the morning studying and revising so that I can go and write my exam again and still get a distinction so that my parents wouldn't disown me. So yes, it's been 1 year since I graduated, and it's been the most fulfilling year of my life because I've been able to concentrate on my art, my company, creativity, and myself 24/7. And I'm so glad that I'm here to share that story with all of you.
That's a lovely, lovely story. A complete circle of life moment. So we have an art doctor or doctor of art right here. So going forward, and like you put in a real good emphasis about how therapeutic it could be. And if you look at it, and like we also got like a part like, where you've given us a whole cycle of events that got you there, and you had to stick to a professional boundary, come to something which is not, like I would say, not accepted in our society. If jump out, going along painting, and they'll ask you a lot of things. Even Terence mentioned like he's a game developer because it takes money for him to buy bikes, if I'm not wrong. And going forward, and there's all of these things that come into life, right? And like how art is therapeutic for you. I'm sure for both of you, what you guys do is also therapeutic for yourselves, right? You riding bikes, or going out, getting that adrenaline, or having protein, or going along. So if you could highlight something about like us Gen Zs and the whole event about GENZU, we give a lot of emphasis on mental health. That I'll give it to this generation, our generation, that we cater to mental health much, much more than what the earlier generations do. I think that's what sets us apart. And a small instance from your own journeys as well on mental health. Neole, if you could give us your bit.
Yeah, so it's like I've mentioned, right, when I was small, a very plumpy kid, and around when I was 14 years, when I hit puberty, I started gaining weight in my thighs and in my stomach. And in India, an athlete is defined tall, lean. So, but if you see in Jamaica or in any other foreign country, a lot of athletes are short and they're like muscular, built. Yeah. They're muscular, right? And I feel I fall under that category, but in India, it's very rare to see that. So I was quoted as the fat athlete. I was, highlighted as a chubby athlete or the overweight. And every event. So I used to win. I was a very I used to easily win nationals and all. I was an overachiever at that time when I was 14, 15 years. And after every national medal, I used to get a lot of coaches coming to me saying that, see, we have national camps coming up, but you got to lose weight. And then my coach is like, why? They're like, no, she's overweight. And then we had to explain, imagine these are all big Indian coaches. They're head of India coach, and they used to come no, she has to lose weight and all. So even though I knew I was not wrong, it's not wrong to be strong, it's not wrong to be a little bulkier, it used to hit me. Every day I used to look at the mirror and I used to oh, I need my shorts to be a little longer because I'm thick in my thighs, or I need to cover up my stomach because it's a little saggy. So it did affect me a lot mentally, and COVID time especially, because I could not get high impact training. So I did gain a lot of weight, and I had a big thing on body dysmorphia. I had to go for therapy for that. And what I've learned is people will tell you a lot of things, and it's about you. It's about how you think you are, what you are capable of, right? If I would have just, okay, fine, I'm overweight and I can't do this, I can't do that, I wouldn't be here. But the thing what I did was I learned that it's not my fault to look this way, and therapy helped me a lot. Mental health is really important at this point, because social media, there's a lot of people saying a lot of things. Even now when I post in media, I get a lot of comments saying that, oh, moti hai, or alli jasti, they're fat, all that messages is there. So being strong mentally is really important, especially when media is so out there, and people have the right to comment. Everyone has the right to comment, right? And you can't control that. So that one incident, the whole COVID time, the whole body dysmorphia, me getting over it, and loving my body now, so that took a whole mental toll. Yeah.
See, exactly. Even as an athlete, you're going through body shaming processes in professional setups. Even though you're giving out results, the way you look actually matter to them. So they never gave a keen importance about what your performance was, or if you're breaking records. But the only thing was, okay, she has to look fit, even though if you're physically fit, right? And this plays a big, big role. And even if you go with athletes, and there's so many kids when they go out and they venture out and, they're trying to get into sports or anything, their body definitions clearly set them apart, right? If you're tall, they'll send you to swim or play volleyball or play basketball and going, but that doesn't really matter. Even if you look at, even if you see our cricketers also now, they've taken such a big toll on fitness, and that is an important part. But your talent, your zeal, what you carry from within matters the most. Doesn't matter about how you look, it's about what you can give to the sport, right? So that's very important. That's really nice, what you shared. But even through that, you fought through it all, and we would still see you at the finish line finishing first, right? So that's really great. A huge round of applause for that battle, guys. Come on, that deserves it. So, and Bhoomika, you emphasize on how medical school and how, obviously, like you said, it was pre-written for you. You had to be a doctor, and you're going in unconventional methods. And if you look at it, you're running both ends of the coin, right? You're flipping. You're also a doctor. Do you still practice medical, and how art is therapeutic, right? If you could give us an expert on how that journey has been for you and how mentally taxing it was for you also going along.
So I call myself a full-time artist and a part-time doctor. And once I graduated, I did not look back, guys. My parents are good doctors. They still ask me to come, just sit in the clinic, look at patients. But to be very honest, my internship put me through so much shit and so much oppression. There is no respect in the medical community unless you're right up there on top. And that is something that you can talk to anyone that's in a medical field in your friend's circle, and they'll tell you the same thing. At the end of the day, my internship was all about running around to do menial labor work. And they never really give you the feeling of being a doctor. But at the same time, you are subjected to a lot of harassment, a lot of unnecessary burden, perhaps. And my art was one of the only things that would let me take a break from everything. Because when I'm creating, I'm in charge. When I'm creating with people, I'm the person telling them this is something that will work and this is something that will give you the result that you need without overexerting yourself to a point where you're mentally done for the day. And well, yes, that's why the last 1 year has been so good for me, because mentally I've been in such a good place after suffering so much for 5 years by balancing my medicine and art. And I reached that point only when I got my convocation certificate, put it under a stack of clothes, and said, yes, I'm done with this life. So choosing my passion was calming in a way that I never expected it to be. And the fact that I'm able to earn something, and well, not something, much more than I would as a doctor, and be financially independent because of my passion makes me mentally feel a lot more stable in a better place.
So you need to chase what you want in life, right? And the calling comes in different ways. Like for you started off with a simple masala dosa going along. And yes, you did fight the battles, the stereotypes. You had to go along. And then art became your medium. It became therapeutic. Now it's made you financially independent. And that must be very relieving, like you said. And going along. And not only that, like in more or less, like your art tells your story, but also gives a story for others to view on. And going along, you've painted more than 400 murals and going along, and so much of the city has been covered and going on. So that's great. A huge round of applause for Bhoomika, guys. Come on. And now moving forward, Terence. So you're burning fuel. That fuels yourself, and even mentally, and you're a very strong practitioner of mental health, if I'm not wrong, and you give a lot of importance to it. And what is your remedy, therapy, and going along, and how much do you emphasize on it?
I mean, it's right in front of me. It's motorcycles. But I mean, we all have ups and downs in life, but there are people who actually go through a lot of things. Like, for example, I was in the garage and I have a friend called Thomas. He's somewhere there. Thomas, okay. And that guy, yes, he has so much going on in his life, running around, dad's health, a lot of things. But that boy will come. He'll come to the garage and be like, bro, one bike, I'll just go one round and come back. And he'll finish that round, he'll come back and he'll be at peace. His soul will be filled with happiness, with joy. He'll be like, yeah, I can go home and have a good sleep. I think motorcycles do a lot more to you, People think motorcycle is just riding fast. It's just hitting the limiter, just belting and taking photos and showing off. But just one ride in nature, it's going to change you. It's going to put a different perspective in your head.
And so how does that has an effect on you? You spoke about Thomas and about you, and how you've told me earlier.
I mean, my life, obviously, there is always going to be ups and downs in everyone's life. But end of the day, it's just, we all have this. This is to keep us happy. And yeah, I mean, have a good mindset while riding. That's important too.
So that's your fuel.
That's my fuel. It's just motorcycles, trust me.
Okay. A huge round of applause for Terence, guys. So going forward, I think what sets us all apart here is that we're Gen Z. We're battling generations worth of battles. We don't want to fit into stereotypes. We want to make new ones. And we want to, get out there. We're the digitally native. Like the older generations needed to have a manual to figure out how a phone was. You give it to our generation, they'll fix it in a bit and they'll be like, this is how it's done. I know we come with that sort of a skill set, and that we found very creative ways. You guys are creators here yourself. Not only just about what you do in your life, but you put in yourself on the digital space. And how you guys portray your art, how you portray your professions, how you portray your enthusiasm about all sorts of things, right? And as creators. So what do you think is the drive for you guys to create and be digital? And there's this tag, Gen Z knows it better digitally, right? And you guys are the clear justifications for it. What makes you get that justification and be the drive for it?
So I'm going to take this one because I'm in a space where artists right now will not get the credits that they deserve unless they have enough followers on Instagram. And that is something that I've seen in a lot of events that I've attended as a influencer, because everyone who's around me always talks about, oh, okay, aapke paas like 300k followers hai. Okay, let's collab. But this was, I think this was an event that I attended when I had around 6,000 followers, and no one spoke to me in that room. And now they look at the same number of followers, and around the same time, I remember quoting like 3 lakhs for a project, and them saying, oh, why 3 lakhs? No, what 3 lakhs? Let's reduce the price on this. But now with the same, I don't have a lot of followers on my Instagram, even now. But with that boost in the followers that I do have, the people who reach out to me know that because I have these number of followers, I might not be a great artist, but I have the followers for it. So when I paint for them, they can tell people, oh, this influencer came and she painted it for us. And that is not the identity that I want for myself. But in today's age of digital media, especially where content is currency, having that follower count, having the views on your reels, having people collaborating with you for the work that you do through a brand, through their company, through a corporate event is so much more apt. And traditional forms of advertising, traditional forms of marketing. No one reads a paper anymore. Why are you investing 3 lakhs and putting something on a newspaper? No one looks at a billboard anymore. Everyone's focusing on making sure they don't slam into someone in traffic. No one listens to the radio anymore. Everyone's on Spotify or YouTube Music. And Instagram is the only place where your attention span, even if it's like a goldfish, is actually given a little bit of credit. Which is why being a creator, being anything in this day and age, only comes into play if you're a creator parallelly. And that is something, to be very honest, is very, very draining, especially after you've spent like 3 days on painting a wall and you don't have any content to post and you're like, oh my gosh, what is the point of painting? And you discredit yourself for the hours and hours of hard work that you would have put into creating something just because you don't have anything to show for it on the internet. And if you don't show it, people don't see it. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
I want to follow with her. I agree to what Bhoomika says, because even in the sports industry, right? I mean, I don't want to get sued and all that, but there was this one company, and so I used to do that when I was doing athletics, right? We used to see a lot of people will suggest you, okay, when you're working out, film it and post it. But we are working out in such a high intensity, right? I will be looking like one dog. Like I'll be panting, I'll be sitting in the floor, mud on me, all these synthetic, the red synthetics all stuck on us, like we are sweating and all that. You won't look pretty. You don't look like you don't look nice on camera, right? So we don't film it, and our coach yelling at us on the other side, and everyone's like, okay, 2 minutes break, 2 minutes, you have to start the other rep. So we don't have time to shoot. And that brand starts with brand. They reached out to me, they sponsored for a month. Then they're like, Neole, we want you to put flexing videos. Okay, I said, see, I can, but is that my authenticity, like my brand is athletics, right? And I will post running videos. If you want to deal with that, you can go for it, right? And then they're like, yeah, we support all kind of sports and all that. Put one running video and then hold the protein and call it a day. Okay, fine. 2 months it did. Third month is cancel my contract. Contract was 6 months. Why? You're not aesthetic enough for us. And I was like, see, I am an athlete. I am a proper athlete. I am not like those. I would not call myself a fitness influencer. I'll call myself an athlete. Right. It just happened that I got followers. It just happened that I'm even now, right? I'm now putting extra effort to post. Whatever imagine I'm lifting something. I'm taking a video to show my coach. It's not even to go to Instagram. I send it to him for him to analyze it. Then that same video will go in my Instagram, right? And I try not to put a lot of effort because I feel like, the authenticity, you try to like whitewash, you try to, try to be someone else in Instagram. It's very hard to have our own personality in Instagram, right? So same thing, even the High Rocks. I went to High Rocks, not sponsor. I paid my own 10,000 rupees I paid to go for High Rocks. I went there, I won also. But there were other influencers who got paid because they have higher accounts. But, they were not that great.
Right.
Yeah, they were paid to run, and they didn't like they were not in a
the
ranking,
performance, right.
So it depends on the followers you
Also
have.
right.
Yeah.
And if like yeah, that's very true. It's now if you have to be an influencer, they don't see the kind of influence you have on people's lives, but the kind of influence you have on the algorithm, the amount of follows you carry, and going along. And in this panel, this is one great thing about this one panel is we've got two people on one side of the coin, and then we have Terence here, who despises being that digitally active. And he has a lot of reasons for it, right? But see, he also influences in his own way. And see, he doesn't go on social media and go on. So why is that you don't want to reach out to social media?
I think it's too fake.
Okay.
I've seen people who don't know head or tail about motorcycles, who don't know anything. We know, everyone knows who it is, but they just take the camera, put it down there, and bro, the V4, bro, 1000cc, bro, 80 horsepower. Like, have you felt that 80 horsepower? Like, when does it come? And no, bro, 80 horsepower, bro. Like, that's how the world has become. So it's very fake. So end of the day, if you're doing something, do it for yourself. Yes, even when I ride on track, I do like 30, 40 laps. In that, we'll only get like 3-4 photos. Post those photos, be happy, but it's not right to, be something that you're not.
Right. And yeah, so we've got two views here, and people always place it on the kind of traction we have right now going along. And what about the influence Gen Z plays, which is not online? Like, if you look at it, there's so many people who play so much influences on people's lives without being digitally active, like just being themselves. You can be an inspiration, right? But the brands don't look for that. The marketing agencies don't look for that. They're just going for that. Now, if you look at it in one way, I feel that our generation is being capitalized by these global brands. Like, okay, this person, okay, traditional advertising, okay, a print ad is not giving us traction. Okay, we're boosting on multiple platforms. Okay, we're just getting views. We're not getting the kind of impressions we want. And, going along, I feel they're using this generation to get the mileage they want, right? And what are your views on this? About the brands, like how bad it's become. Okay, and everyone wants to be an influencer. They're trying so hard. If they don't become, that's a different complete story. But if they do become, they get exploited so many ways. And like you said, with that protein company of yours and going along, and like you said, oh, only 6,000 followers, so no one spoke to you. And like how you said, it's all fake, right? What do you guys think of this generation? I would say I would go to liberty of saying we're being exploited for the talents that we have for being digitally native. Terence, what do you have to say about that?
I think it's more of the viewers, the people who are watching you. They should be mentally sound to understand what is right, what is wrong, what information to take and what information not to take. And so it's all on the person getting the information. You can post whatever you want. I can post whatever I want, but the other person should cross-check, verify. That's what's important. That's what I feel is right.
So verification. And Neole?
There are a lot of brands that exploit you to the max. So imagine, let's just say I'm quoting 60K for a reel, and they'll come to me, they'll be like, sorry ma'am, we are doing it for 30K. I'm like, okay, but my costing is 60K. They're like, no, brand is new, please understand. I'm like, it's your problem. It's not mine, right? And then they'll be like, okay, fine. We signed for 50K, right? We came to a middle point, 50K we agreed. And then the script, oh my God. Imagine if it's a shoe, best shoe in the world, this foam, that foam. I don't even know from where they've got these big words, right? So it's a lot of fake things, but as Terence said, right, as a viewer, you need to be conscious about what you're saying, right? You need to know, we are ads and ad. You're promoting the thing. It's because of job, right? But you need to be aware. Like, even there's a lot of meat brands that reached out to me, and I remember there was one of the meat brands, very famous brand. You'll all know it. Again, don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
So they sent me, and then I got sick. I actually got food poisoning, and I already signed the contract, so I had to make a reel.
Right.
And I felt so bad. I told all my friends, like, guys, like, nah, don't buy it.
Don't go.
It's not good, like, because I obviously signed it, and I have to post it, right? So
Right,
you have to be...
so there's commercials involved, so you get, in one way they are trapped.
Yeah, because you sign a contract, right?
Right.
You have to sign an agreement before doing a reel. And that plays you'll get sued for that.
right.
So, yeah.
And yes, so Bhoomika, what is your take on brands, reaching out and going for the exploitation here?
I think it depends on the consumer, because we're living in a world where you can't buy property.
Right.
You're so happy that you landed a job in Google, but you can't buy property.
Right.
You're so happy that, you can afford a bag from Michael Kors, but you can't buy property. So instead of dreaming about buying property, we try to invest our money into tiny little pleasures. I
Right.
think it's called the red lipstick theory.
Okay.
Every time there's a hike in the number of red lipsticks being bought, people know that people's spending power parity has increased,
Right.
but they're not able to invest it in a place where investment is required for their well-being.
Right.
So little pleasures of life is what people always look for. Like, come on, I celebrated my birthday a week ago, and I think I had an inflow of like 30K from my relatives who are like, oh yeah, this is free money now. This is money that
Right.
I didn't earn. It
Right.
was just gifted to me. So instead of putting it in an investment bank, I saw an offer from Clayco where they said, oh yeah, 2,000 rupees, you get 4 things, bro. And I said, yeah, give me.
Right.
So I think it falls, our consumer base, especially Gen Z, my age group of people, they have a lot of money.
Right.
They don't know what to do with it. And investing doesn't really seem like a very healthy, flavorful thing to do at the time,
Right, right.
because why do I need to wait for 10 years to reap the rewards of something instead
Right.
of getting an hyaluronic acid right now that'll give me glowy skin in a week?
Right. Right.
So I wouldn't blame it on a creator. Obviously, like, you are, as a creator, you are responsible for giving something that you believe in to the people. But at the same time, if it's something that doesn't fall into your niche, like if you see my page, there are not a lot of collaborations that aren't something that I can put on a wall.
Right.
So I wouldn't collaborate with okay, forget that. So I have a collaboration with Samsung because I can design something on a pad and then put it on a wall to show people.
Right.
But that is something that people can take and use, and it's not something that would affect them in a health or a conscious way.
Right.
So she has a lot more riding on this than me in that term.
Right.
So
Yeah.
as a creator who's only in the art sphere, I don't have a lot of ways in which I can harm someone in a physical way.
Right.
And anything that I promote on my page is something that resonates with me.
Right.
Might not be something that I afford, but if you can afford it, you can buy it after seeing my reel.
Right. Right.
So
So yeah, so we have our own takes, and and also we are very diverse as digital creators, right? I mean, right now when we're creating something, we're creating a conversation and going on, we fall in way too many sections if you go along with it, right? And if you look at, we always forget the little things in life, that gives you the joys, the hobbies you create, and you know that's also become an influencer thing, the things you do on a daily basis. But also, if you look at it, what do we do for ourselves here? Like now, as our generation, also, if you look at it, we do a widespread of things that are not orthodox. Right? It's very unorthodox. We go the unconventional ways, but that keeps us sane. That keeps us going. That gives us joy in a day, right? Other than what we do for a living or what we do digitally, right? There's one part of our life that no one gets to see. There's something like, personally, I love gardening. So every day morning I get up, first thing I go water all my plants. Like I go along, I look over, this time has grown this much, but it's a very therapeutic for me in my own way. I'm going green in that manner and going along. So what would be that thing that we don't get to see about y'all, but keeps you sane, keeps you yourself? That's the factor, your factor, you factor. So Terence, what do you do?
I think I would just randomly stare at motorcycles and cars. Randomly at night, I just walk down and I just look at them. My watchman would be like, "What's wrong with this person? Why is he doing this?" Just something I do. I think that.
Right. So your whole life, even your hobbies, the thing going along.
As in,
Like, what would you do other than motorcycles that makes you what you are, keeps you sane?
not motorcycles. Well, I'm a developer, so
Right.
work as usual, and keeping my family happy. I think that's
So
because if we're not living for ourselves, we live for our family. We live for the people we love. So that's what I feel I do.
so that what makes you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what do you do?
Sadly for me, my whole life is in Instagram. I have one account for my sports thing, and I have another account for art. So I do a lot of crochet and painting. And recently, I'm a very bad cook, but like recently, my cooking skills have been great. So I think meal prepping is very therapeutic to me. Seeing my whole week spread in front of me, and yeah, I think that's. But yeah, again, sadly, everything is online for me, and I have to post it, or
Yeah,
you
makes
know,
sense.
it's like it's become an addiction. You know, like if I prep something,
Right.
upload it, you know. So I'm not very proud of it because half of my life is online. I have come across people who come to me, you stay in that road, no? I'm like, yeah. They're like, yeah, we know you posted some video of one crow, it seems. I was like, oh yeah, see, that's how public my life is.
right.
But it's fine, it's okay.
So being on Instagram, being digitally active is your hobby and your
Yeah.
profession.
Yeah.
Okay, I think both of you belong in the same boat here. So okay, other than work, so Bhumika, what do you have to say? Like, what keeps you sane?
What keeps me sane is my boyfriend who's standing there in the back.
Not everyone gets that. Not everyone.
Literally, all the hobbies I have are hobbies that my friends find therapeutic. So every time I'm freaking out, they say, why don't you try building a Lego set with me? And now I have Lego Ferraris lying around all over my house. I keep stepping on them, but it's so nice to spend 3 hours to build something so tiny.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, honestly, it's my entire friend circle.
Oh, that's great. No, friends, family, and Instagram. Cooking. Yeah. So, and going along, and as a generation, okay, what, like, now the GENZU summit, like, now my team reached out to you, and like we called you out for like a panel, and there's something that you guys would want to spread a message and going along, right? What would that message be to our audience right here?
Follow your passion. There is a lot of money. You just need to figure out how to make it.
Please try to stay fit. It'll really work like wonders, you know, like
Right.
your body will thank you. And especially for women, especially for girls sitting here, trust me, it's going to help you so much with PCOS, PCOD, and pelvic problems and hormonal issues and all. Just going to the gym or just sweating a little bit will help you so much, and you will, like, you know, you will say thank you for like going to the gym or doing something like that.
Yeah. Right.
A lot of influencers, I see a lot of fitness influencers putting in the Instagram like, this was me 1 month ago, now look at me, like, you know, all these pre-drinking videos and post this and all that. I call cap, you know, like it's all cap. They are still doing whatever they want. But the thing is, I see, I post a lot of, like, I like partying and I post a lot of videos out, and then I get a lot of my friends who message me like, Neole, you're an influencer, you're not supposed to do that. I'm like, bro, this is my life, right? I want to show who I am. I don't want to fake anything. And even my coaches and all have seen this, and they're like, it's okay, it's fine, you know, like it's not extreme. I'm not like doing extreme stuff and all that, but yeah, I just want to show that you can balance both. You can be authentic, you can be yourself. Yeah,
That's very inspiring from you all. And like Terence,
About life?
yeah, like
I
what do you
don't
want?
think I can give a lot of advice about life, but one thing about how not to die on a motorcycle. Where you look, you will go. I mean,
Right.
where you look. So while riding a bike, where you place your eyes, that's where the bike's going to take you. And one more thing, there is no other way of turning. The only way to turn a motorcycle is through counter steer. Only through counter steer. You can only steer your vehicle through counter steer. So if you want to move your body and turn the bike, it's not going to happen. And one more mistake I notice a lot of riders doing is target fixation. They, let's say something runs on the road, you guys just tend to look at that. Look at where you want to go, right? So when a dog runs across the road, don't look at the dog. Look at the place where you want to go. Where there's no dog, the bike will go there. So yeah.
So
that
are you
will not
trying
get
to place
killed.
it in a very clever way through motorcycles? He means like you'll go where you look. So, and is that what you're trying to say? And
With life too.
With life
With
too?
life too. But whatever you do in life, it translates to motorcycle and cars.
All right. Okay. So we have Terence completely going towards the motorsport area here. And I think with that, we'll end this discussion here. A very lively discussion what we've had. And quite widespread here, and that's what GENZU is all about. A huge round of applause for the panel, guys. And thank you for logging on to the Urbanite Bengaluru. It's all about you.